Welcome back to the WHHI-TV Daily News. Well, Heart Month continues, and here to talk to us a little bit more about that is Andrew Groff. He is the EMS captain for Hilton Head Fire and Rescue. Thank you for being here today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, we are in Heart Month. All kinds of events and things going on. We've talked to lots of different people on the news this month about that particular topic, and so we want to talk to you about an event that's coming up.
Yeah. So, in conjunction with Novant, Hilton Head Island Fire Rescue, we're teaming up to have a heart health community event. It's going to be at Station 4. We're going to have a lot of games there for younger people. We're going to do some blood pressure checks, vital signs. So if anyone's ever concerned about their blood pressure or anything, they come get that evaluated. We're also going to be doing some quick CPR demos, really just kind of enhancing our, the community engagement and the public education when it comes to pretty much any of those, health topics or learning CPR, things along those lines.
And when is the event?
The event will be this Sunday. It's going to be from 2 to 3 at Station 4.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 400 Squire Pope Road at the back gate of Hilton Head Plantation.
Okay. And so obviously, as we've been talking all month, it's still the #1 killer in America, and we need to try and change that. Yeah. So how, as Fire and Rescue, do you prepare for those kinds of incidents, and how should we prepare ourselves?
Yeah, so the first and foremost is to learn CPR. Really and truly, we offer free classes all the time. You can reach out through our headquarters with Cindy Seaman. She schedules all of that as well. That is the most important thing from the public perspective. When it comes to us in operations with Fire Rescue, we train all of our people. Even though we do it all the time, we are continually training on CPR. Right now we have about 57 paramedics so over half of our operations are paramedics.
Okay.
So every time a truck comes up, there's a paramedic on it as well as an EMT. And they are trained and able to pretty much mitigate all those disasters. We send a lot of people to these incidents as well. We have a lot of hands because they're really time sensitive and strenuous activities.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about CPR because it seems to evolve. I mean, back in the day with the dummies and the breathing and all that. But it's different than that now.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've done it before, you probably should do it again.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's gotten a lot easier, surprisingly.
Which is kind of nice. It's a little bit less intimidating.
Yeah. So really, when it comes to the public, all we teach for most people is just hands-only CPR. Just starting those compressions early is the #1 thing that can help survivors. Really, studies have shown that for every minute that CPR is delayed, and that's just compressions only, you're reducing the survivability by 10% for every minute.
Wow, that's a very big number.
Yes,
yeah.
Which is also very important because on average it takes us about 5 minutes from our station to wherever we're going on the island.
Okay.
So that's 5 minutes that we really need the public to be performing CPR to, have those good success stories and those survivors.
Yes. And if we think somebody we know is having an incident, maybe not to CPR stage yet, or we think ourselves are having an incident, when do we know to call you or drive ourselves to the hospital?
I would always recommend, as soon as you're having symptoms, to either call 911 or go to the hospital. It's really dependent on the severity. If you're able to drive and you feel comfortable going to the hospital, driving yourself to the hospital, you can do that. But we are always available. Okay. And we have no problem ever coming out, even if it is almost kind of maybe more of a false alarm. We can still do a complete evaluation. We do have a cardiac monitor. We can look at your heart rhythm, no different than if you would go to a cardiologist.
Okay.
So we have all that information, and then we can provide you that information. And if you do decide to go to the hospital, then we will gladly take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that way we can get you to some more definitive care as well.
So kind of better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we had a little under a minute left. Let's just talk some about those statistics.
Yeah.
I mentioned it's still the #1 killer, but what are some other statistics we should know?
So the other big thing, if you didn't know, Hilton Head Island Fire Rescue has one of the highest save rates in the country, let alone the world, when it comes to cardiac arrest.
Well, that's just fantastic news.
Yeah. So last year, I actually ran it this morning. Our survivor save rate, and this is for cardiac arrest, were bystanders, which is why bystanders are the most important thing here. We had a 70% save rate.
Wow.
The national average.
I love good news numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly. The national average is 29%.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah. So
and what do you attribute that to?
The public. Really and truly, it is all the public, because we have sent so many people through CPR classes, whether it's the plantation security